Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
Today we're going to talk about AIB spying on customers' social media. Go ahead.
Yes, this was reported in the Sun newspaper.
And the Irish Independent, and a few more.
Oh, and the Irish Independent, a few more, good. And they highlighted the fact that AIB was spying on, when customers that wish to obtain a mortgage or apply for a mortgage and, shall we say, have sufficient income to justify a mortgage. AIB, as being the mortgage provider, asked them various questions, and one of the things that they expect them to provide is a consent for any Facebook or Twitter account that they have and the comments therein.
Okay, so do you think people should have an opt-out in this situation?
Well, we'll say they're applying for a mortgage. If you're applying for a mortgage, bearing in mind that there was a lot of people in various banks, probably including the AIB, but certainly recently reported in the Ulster Bank, that they wish to dispose of their book, which has mortgages, some of which hasn't been paid for 3 years and more. So they wish to sell that book with all these mortgages that are in arrears. So that's the background, if you like, where AIB are making sure that the people that they're going to provide mortgages to will not be unreliable from the point of view of not paying their mortgage regularly and on time.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's an invasion of customer privacy?
Well, I don't think so, because if a person has details up on Facebook and Twitter and various other social media, I think it behoves a lender prepared to advance 2 or 3 or 400,000 euros as a mortgage to that customer, need to know as much about that customer as is possible. And certainly if they're on these social media, we hear various stories about social media. Some people use it in a very positive sense, but a lot of people, which are known as trolls, use it in a very bad way. So it would be imperative, if I was offering a mortgage to somebody, I'd like to know as much about them as I possibly could. Aside from their age and their financial situation, I'd like to have an idea about their what way they operate in the world, be it in their pastimes or whatever else it might be, so as I can make a good sound decision if I'm going to advance them all this kind of money.
So you want to know, if you were in the bank, just because you can know, you want to know, because if you look back at the past, right, when there was no social media, there was no problem with lending money without looking into a person's private life. Correct,
because there was no vehicle for people to vent whatever it is, ideas, social or anti-social or otherwise. It wasn't possible, bar that they sent letters or something.
Put something in the newspaper or
to people, but publish the newspaper. Newspaper wouldn't publish something that would be defamatory and that kind of thing. Whereas social media, there are a lot of comments on it, and people, particularly in the public eye, often have had very bad experience of the sort of attacks on them from the type of people that disagree with their views, if they're moderate views and reasonable views. One example of that in the current situation we find ourselves in is that in this pro-life and anti-abortion narrative that's taking place at the present time, people that want to bring in abortion but call it something else now, they use tactics attacking people. So you know, you're lending money to somebody, you've got to sort of have some idea about what the way they behave, because all these modern technology situations are available today. So they are an important for the bank to be able to be satisfied that the person that they're going to lend money is a normal human being and doesn't suffer from antisocial or various other defects of character.
Mr. Dieter of the Irish Mortgage Brokers said it wasn't clear if someone who posts on social media or on Facebook that they attend the likes of an anti-eviction protests, and that they would end up having a mortgage application refused if the bank was to see it. So there's an example.
Well, that's a perfectly good example. So Mr. Dieter, Carl Dieter, he's got a lot of publicity in the papers. Perhaps it'll do his profession a bit good. But the fact of the matter is, I think this is the usual storming, this is the usual effort of the media to stir up controversy and exaggerate the whole position and be anti-AIB and talk about the state owning three quarters of it, etc. Using various tactics to belittle the bank, which is, after all, is the biggest provider of mortgages in the country. So I think the newspapers, Sun and the News of the World, had to close because of the fake news that they were promoting, and when they were found out. So we have to sort of not take as gospel the opinions of newspapers and these vested interests.
You were saying there the AIB are a big mortgage provider. We have to remember as well that AIB nearly bankrupted the state. Well,
it wasn't so much AIB, well it was, but unfortunately that was caused by our membership of the EU. They provided unlimited finance, where heretofore the finance that the AIB and the banks depended on was depositors. So they were able to give mortgages or lend money to business people, Irish business people that wish to expand a business or start a business. I was the recipient of an overdraft from AIB when I was in business, which was very appreciative. No other bank would provide that. So. But instead of them depending on the depositors' mortgages, our membership of the EU meant that there was money flowing into them without any let or hindrance, and that resulted in the collapse of the banks, because if you're giving too much money to somebody, that's the end result. And that's what happened with the EU. So the EU is behind the collapse. But of course, that doesn't suit the narrative of the media, and I suppose the people that want to bring down the government, which they did, brought down Fianna Fáil.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much.